Hello again, it's Garson, and have you ever wanted to kill people by just making fun of them? So, check this out. We're gonna go ahead and show you the Yappomancer. Bop. Oh, 32 damage, huh? Yeah. Bet you didn't think Vicious Mockery could get this strong. Oh, boy. Yeah. So, double once per turn, we can do 2 Vicious Mockeries and do some serious damage. 28 damage, and 20 damage right there. That was just one hit. We actually did 32 damage. I'll take the shield. All right, Arnson, come over here. I got to break this down for them. Ready? He's going to jump. So, check this out. So, he has what's called Steeped in Bliss. It's a condition thanks to the Resonance Stone. It's making him vulnerable to psychic damage, so he takes double psychic damage. Plus, it's even easier to land Wisdom saving throw spells because of Steeped in Bliss, okay? Thing is, I also have this condition, but we'll get into that in a moment. What's going to happen here is I'm going to add this +6 Charisma modifier, thanks to the potent robes, right? And thanks to my gloves and my ring, I give him a mental fatigue condition every time I land this spell, right? So let's say I hit it with a bonus action. He takes tons of damage because he's vulnerable to psychic. We can do the breakdown over here. There's the potent robes adding my 6 damage. It's a 3d4 cantrip of psychic damage. Since this is all psychic, it gets doubled up thanks to Steeped in Bliss. However, it doesn't stop there. As you can see, he's got 4 mental fatigue. And then he's got -3 wisdom saving throws. So that's already one cool thing about mental fatigue, but check this out. If it gets past 5 turns, 5 stacks, it's going to do another 1d4 psychic damage. That's interesting because I'm going to apply another 4 while doing all this damage to him. And then he dies. Alright, so if we broke that down, the initial one hit for 28 damage after doubling, right? And then it gave him all that mental fatigue. The next one is going to give him even more mental fatigue while doing that tons of damage. And then it does another 1d4 for popping it, plus that 6 damage from the potent robes. Bet you didn't know that. And then it doubles again because it's all psychic damage. So this build can do a lot more, especially based on how you customize it. But what I'm going to do is just pop out and focus on the basics of the build. Ready? So without further ado, this is the Yappomancer. It's a Vicious Mockery focused build. Yes, it's strong, and yes, it could do a lot more. In fact, this isn't even my build, even though I just ran it in honor mode. So a big thank you to you guys for watching. And really, I ask you one thing: to support the channel. If you want to, watch the whole video. But if you don't, I broke it down in some pretty bite-sized sections here, with the big one being build time, okay? And I do want to give a shout out to my viewers, my watchers. In fact, Nadira Furry is the one who made this build, and I played it, and it was awesome. It was hilarious. It was tons of fun. I was yapping all through honor mode. And Olio is the one who requested me actually give a breakdown for you. So let's just dive right into it. Now keep in mind, this is patch 8. If you see in the top left section or corner of the video, it says patch 8 stress test update 3, okay? So I do want to keep in mind that things have changed while I've been playing the patch stress test. It's thanks to you guys that I have it, so thank you so much. I'm trying to pay it forward by playing cool builds and showing you what's possible, so when it comes out, you can have some fun, right? And thanks to the new subclasses, this build is really, it's a new possibility, right? So this is just one of the many new cool things you can do with the new subclasses. But first, let's start with Vicious Mockery. I'll make it really brief and quick for you. Obviously, it's a cantrip. It does psychic damage, and it doesn't matter how you level up or multi-class, it's going to get stronger at levels 5 and 10, okay? Now, it seems pretty weak compared to other cantrips, but as you can see there, we can make it really strong, and it all starts with, it's a wisdom saving throw, right? So that's why I showed you with Arnson real quick. He has a saving throw value on your enemies. You use this cheat sheet, you can see what their saving throw value is, and maybe they have some benefits that kind of help with that. But overall, that's what you want to look for. And then this is going to go off of, pretty much always for Vicious Mockery, it's going to go off of charisma, depending on class and whatnot. But we'll get into that in a moment. You want to aim for a high spell save DC, any way you can figure that out, okay? So, disadvantage is also the effect they get. You can see it right here. So there is a nice little benefit of doing the damage, but also the enemy will have disadvantage on their next attack. So it helps you and your allies stay safe too while making fun of them, right? And then the Resonance Stone is a big part of it, making any psychic damage like Shadow Blade or Vicious Mockery, making it really strong. So this little guy, the Resonance Stone, you get it at the end of Act 2. you're going to get the Steeped in Bliss condition in a 30-foot radius of whoever's holding this, okay? That means you and your allies are also going to be vulnerable to psychic damage and be a lot easier to hit with wisdom saving throw spells like Hold Person. So please keep that in mind. While this is really necessary to making Vicious Mockery a monster in damage, right? It's also going to make you vulnerable, so keep that in mind, okay? But what this does is it makes it easier to hit your wisdom saving throws, really all of the mental saving throws, but this is the big one we're talking about, okay? And it's also going to make them vulnerable to psychic damage, doubling up the damage we do. But I think I broke that down enough for you. What I'm going to do is say the potent robes is a big part of this. It's adding in your charisma modifier. Doesn't matter what class or multi-class you're running, it's always going to be charisma modifier, so +6 in my case. It's going to add that to our cantrip damage. So in our case, Vicious Mockery. So that's awesome. And then Rhapsody, I'm not using it in this build, but the dagger in Act 3 you get from Cazador does also work here. And then Mental Fatigue. This is a big one, so I'm going to break it down for you. Like I said, it's going to add a -1 to the saving throws of Wisdom. Okay, really any mental saving throw, and it's per stack. So actually with these two items, I actually get 4 stacks per Vicious Mockery, okay? It's kind of like Reaver, but for the mental saving throws. And after 5 stacks or more, you'll actually get another instance of psychic damage, which then gets the bonus from Potent Robes. I don't really care how intended this is. Hopefully they never change this, because this really makes it worth it to use Mental Fatigue, among other reasons, right? So 4 stacks per Mockery. How am I doing that? Well, Mockery does psychic damage, so that's 2 stacks from the Brain Drain Gloves. And Mockery is a saving throw, so if they fail their saving throw, they get 2 more Mental Fatigue. So with one Vicious Mockery, I get 2 and 2 Mental Fatigue. That means I pop 4 Mental Fatigue, and I will pop it with the second Mental Fatigue or Vicious Mockery, thus doing more psychic damage and popping it, okay? Plus, there's always the benefit of you and your allies might want to get like a Hold Person or Dissonant Whispers. Any kind of saving throw spell is getting a benefit from this too. So don't underestimate how good this is here. And this really is a build centered around Vicious Mockery, Mental Fatigue, and the Resonance Stone. So Swashbuckler, where this comes in, it's a new subclass for rogues. You only really need 4 levels of this. I highly recommend playing this subclass. There's so many cool things to do with it, and I rated it really highly. But at level 4, you get Dirty Tricks, these 3 moves that are all bonus action moves, and when you land any of them, you get advantage on your next attack. Kind of funny given Vicious Mockery, right? Okay, but this means we can now use Vicious Mockery on the bonus action. So it's the new rogue subclass in patch 8. I know it's not out yet, but nothing should change once it does come out. At level 4, you're going to get all 3 of these moves. It makes Vicious Mockery a new bonus action, and you'll get advantage if you land your Vicious Mockery. So if you wanted to use Vicious Mockery and then go in for a weapon attack, that's also a viable strategy here, right? So that's pretty cool. And then you get an easier sneak attack too. So otherwise, it's literally just the same cantrip. So everything I said about that will benefit here as well on the bonus action. And that enables us to have 2 Vicious Mockeries per turn at the very least, okay? And that's why we're able to pull up the Mental Fatigue combo. So otherwise, it's the same as cantrip. And then, don't forget that as a rogue, level 1, you get expertise. This is really useful, especially thematically, but also outside of combat. You'll have expertise in, say, maybe deception or persuasion. This can really help with, dialogue, but also shop prices. You know what also helps with shop prices? When you just steal it for free. So sleight of hand. So I would highly recommend persuasion and sleight of hand, and really any other thing you get. But at level 1, you get 2 expertise anyway. And if you go into Bard like I will in build time, you actually get even more expertise. So it's kind of silly. Okay. So definitely don't sleep on those factors. And then obviously in the early game, sneak attack damage is actually really strong, really good in honor mode. Okay. So build time. It's easily customizable after you take your first 5 levels. Your first 4 levels should be Rogue for Swashbuckler, and now you have bonus action Vicious Mockery. And with 1 level of Bard, we can start going into Bard levels, but at level 5 total, we'll have 2 Vicious Mockeries, right? So without further ado, it's Yappy. Like I said, Nadira Furry gets credit for this. Shout out to Nadira. This is the Yappomancer, and we just ran this in honor mode. So I'll show you, I'll say this in a little bit, but we literally ran this and we kicked butt with this, okay? So 4 Swashbuckler is what you should start with. Then go into your Swords Bard at level 5. What I chose was Swords Bard because I get extra attack at level 6, right? So I'm going to attack twice per turn with my weapon, okay? Let's say you take the Infernal Rapier, which means you can use your Charisma as a weapon, right? So you can literally become what's called sad, single attribute dependent, and you be all about charisma, right? So speaking of stats, and the differences here, by the way, is I know I'm showing 4 and 8, but I actually took 2 sorcerer at the last level. I sacrificed 2 bard levels because now I can use meta magic, twin magic, and for both this and this, you can now hit two different targets if you want to use some sorcery points. So that's another viable way to run this, but that's what I meant. This is so customizable, and for how silly this build is, it's really strong. So I would start off with 16 dexterity. Since you're going to be running cloth gear, especially with the potent robe, you might as well get 3 initiative. You might as well get 3 bonus armor class for running cloth gear, right? And then you get the saving throw benefits, and you also get the acrobatics and sleight of hand benefits. Those are actually really good, really useful, okay? 14 con, because why not have a little more HP? Maybe if you're concentrating, that's important. But really, like I said, you're really just single attribute dependent. You're sad. So you can get this up to 24 charisma like I did in my run, but 22 easily is very reliable. So what you're going to do at level 4, when you get your bonus action Vicious Mockery, you're actually going to get 2 charisma as your first feat, okay? What's funny is you're now going to go into bard levels and likely go into 4 more levels of bard. So you'll pick up another feat and grab 2 more charisma. So if we started at 16, by level 4 we'd be at 18, and by level 8 we'd be at 20, which is really good, okay? So now we're at 20 charisma. So what kind of equipment? Well, definitely you need the potent robes. That's really where a lot of this is coming from, damage-wise, and that enables us to get this 6 damage and then double it up with the resonance stone. Obviously, Birthright, I really think this is the best because it's 2 charisma added in from Birthright right here. And you can think of that as 2 more damage, because if you're doubling up the psychic damage, you're getting 1 damage doubled up into 2 damage every single time. And it's also helping with mental fatigue damage too, right? So it's also landing your spells, your dialogue options, your persuasion, and, you know, landing other stuff like hold spells, okay? So brain drain gloves and the mental inhibition ring, we talked about these. These are mandatory as well. This is what's really enabling that mental fatigue per hit. And then, okay, with the Resonance Stone, you are now at a disadvantage as well as your enemies, right? You're also at a disadvantage on wisdom saving throw spells, just like Hold Person or Confusion or whatnot. That can really kill you, trust me. In honor mode, it'll kill you. So maybe take an amulet like this that gives you back advantage, basically negating the disadvantage you have on wisdom saving throws. Honestly, intelligence, charisma saving throws are very rare, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. If you can at least eliminate wisdom saving throws, you're good. Okay? And then the Resonance Stone. What's the engine to all of this, right? So this is what's beefing up everything by creating that psychic vulnerability in your enemies. Not every enemy can be psychic vulnerable or even have this condition. Like undead can't get affected, for instance, but for like 90% of the enemy types in the game, you're good to go. Even the brain at the end of the game. Okay? So the Elder Brian is also affected by this. So what I'm going to recommend you do is, if you want to know how to play this, just jump into the Gale Jira run playlist. It's on my live stream section, my playlist section. You can see this literally grow and evolve from Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. But just as a short notice, just short reference, in Act 1, you're really going to be using your rakish audacity sneak attacks, and once you're level 4, you can land some serious dirty tricks, vicious mockeries. So your bonus action in Act 1, you're probably going to be throwing this out, and this is going to help you land and hit and get your sneak attack damage, okay? Otherwise, use vicious like Tasha's Hideous Laughter for some control. You can actually use oh, wait, no, I'm talking about Swashbuckler right now. You don't even have spells. So basically, you're just going to throw out this and then use your action to land an attack and get some sneak attack damage in. But you'll have your rogue bonus actions, which I highly recommend you don't sleep on. These are really good. So whether it's an action or a bonus action, you can dash, disengage, do all this stuff. But what's great about this is this gives your next attack advantage, right? I want to say by Act 2, you're actually going to already be able to use like level 5, Act 2, you're going to be able to just use Vicious Mockery. Sure, it's not going to be powerful, but you can get the mental inhibition ring, and you'll probably have Arcane Synergy ring. So at the very least, if you want to go back to just using your bonus actions for this, you'll get Arcane Synergy activated if you want to pick that up, and now you'll be applying Charisma to your main hand attack for a little more damage plus sneak attack damage, right? Okay, so that's pretty cool. Also, since you are a swashbuckler, if anything that can be disarmed, you effectively get 2 attacks as well. So you can really balance it out between 2 Vicious Mockeries or 2 weapon attacks given whoever you're attacking, okay? But in Act 2, late Act 2, you're finally going to get the Resonance Stone and the Brain Drain Gloves, and you'll have the Potent Robes. You can do some serious damage now, and of course by Act 3, honestly, your best play, because it costs no resources, in every single turn you can at least hit people with a wombo combo, Mental Fatigue, bonus psychic damage. This is your bread and butter, and you'll probably, as you go more into Bard, have control spells or whatnot, or if you went Sorcerer, have Metal Magic. Don't forget you have a Song of Rest. But like I said, after that, go check out the playlist. Come join us to have some fun in the live streams. I always play on Honor Mode to encourage you to play some fun, silly builds like this and see how strong we can make them, and can they beat Honor Mode. So when you play it, you can play whatever character you want. So just ask in the chat, in the comments. I love answering questions because you guys are my sponsors, and I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. Keep it simple on this channel. I really hope to see you in the live chat and the stream. But otherwise, just watching is the best support to the channel. And if you really want to support the channel further, I made it as low as possible on YouTube for member support, but otherwise, I'm just happy you're here. So otherwise, get out there, start yapping, kicking butt in Honor Mode, and I'll see you in the next one.